So, good morning. Today, we're going to learn Repulse Monkey. As always, whatever's on your mind, whatever's weighing you down, don't worry, it will be there later. But for now, take that, put that outside. Be present to your body, your position, your feet anchored, weight distributed, and be in the space. We'll begin with some simple stretching exercises, and then we'll go on to learn the form.
We'll begin by taking our feet, putting them not quite shoulder width apart. Make sure our weight's centered in and out and forward and back. Toes should be touching the ground, but there shouldn't be any weight on them. Tuck your tailbone and imagine a string pulling your head from above so that you're both grounded and opening up. We'll begin by taking our hands, interlace our fingers, and we're going to turn to the left and rotate to the right. So imagine you're rotating about your spine and that your hips are a wheel about that axis. Then we're going to bring ourselves back to center, and we're going to open up on the right, bring ourselves back to center, and open up on the left as we scrunch the other side. We're going to alternate those. And bring yourself back to center. Now we're going to lean over, keep your fingers interlaced, but lean over like you're going to touch your toes. And as you do, focus in on, look for tight spots in your body, the part that we're stretching. Focus in on those, help those to loosen. That will help to loosen those up. And bring yourself back up to vertical. And we're going to put our hands in front, and we're going to do gentle circles with our wrists. And switch directions. Okay, then we're going to turn our hands out to the side, and we're going to go up and down gently with the wrists. And then we're going to go forward and back. Okay, make gentle fists with your hands, and we're going to do circles with the wrists. And switch directions. All right, then we're going to open our hands up, and we're going to do the circles with our elbows. And switch directions. And we're going to do the same thing, but at our shoulders. So, circle one direction. And switch directions. All right, then bring your hands by your side, and we're going to lift from our center. So we're going to lift from our chest and the shoulder blades and back. Not actually lifting your shoulders, the shoulder blades and the chest, breastbone. Then you're going to lift those, take it back, and drop. And switch directions. Now lift one side, and then the other. Lift one side, take it back and drop it, and do the same movement with the other side. And switch directions, so we're going to go forward this time. Again, we're lifting with the shoulder blades and the chest, we're not actually lifting the shoulders themselves. We're not shrugging the shoulders. All right, bring yourself back to center. We're going to take our arms and we're going to swing them forward and back. Careful not to strike anything. And you're going to drive this motion from the center. Don't actually use the muscles in your arm. Use your back, chest. And bring your arms down by the side, and you're going to take the backs of the hands and you're going to put those on your hip bones and just let them rest there. So with these stretching exercises, we're not actually trying to stretch the muscles. If you imagine a rope with knots in it, we don't want to yank the rope and tighten up those muscles. We want to loosen those knots up. So now we're going to drop one arm down, reach over to wherever you can easily reach, and then gently draw that arm forward. So the other thing you want to keep in mind about not yanking those proverbial ropes is don't push yourself to 100%. You want to stretch to about 70 or 80% of what of the amount that muscle or joint can open up, and over time it will loosen up and open more and more. Now we're going to switch sides. Back at the other hand on the hip, and gently pull that arm in. Drop that down. We're going to take one arm, swing it behind the back, support it with the other one. In my case, I'm supporting with the right, and then I'm going to shift my weight to that side. Bring yourself back to center. Draw on the other arm, the right arm, and support it with the left, and then shift your weight to the left. Bring yourself back to center and bring your arms around the front. We're going to take and we're going to swing the arms around each other. So the left arm over the right arm and around. If you can reach your hands together, that's fine. If you can only come to about here or even here, that's fine. Critical thing is not to emulate the external form, but to focus in on opening up those muscles inside without stretching them so far that you're yanking those knots and making them tighter. All right, now we're going to switch around the other way. So I'm going to bring my other arm around in top and in front. Drop your arm by your side. Now you're going to take one arm, put it behind your head, use your other hand to push it back gently. So your hand should be up on the other side of your head, and just grasp it with the other hand and let it hang down. So you should have one elbow pointing more towards the ceiling and one pointing out or down. Bring that down and bring the other elbow up. A little push back. And again, grasp that hand. So you're open up the other set of muscles on your arms. Bring your arms down. And now we're going to work on the neck. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see these first moves a little more clearly. So I'm going to lean my head forward. And I'm aiming to have a curve to my neck and not have a hard angle. So you can imagine your skin is a bit like the skin of a balloon that's filled with water. Our bodies are mostly water, about 70 to 80% water. So we're loosening up that skin, letting the water flow more evenly. Now take your head, lean it back the other way. Don't go too far. You don't want to compress the back of your skull. And again, you're looking for a curve to your neck, opening up the front of your neck, front of your face, the muscles in the cheeks, the forehead, and so on. Okay, bring your head forward, and we're going to take, and we're going to lean over to one side. And you want to look slightly up. And bring your head back to center. We're going to go over the other side. Again, looks just a little bit up. Okay, bring your head back to center. We're going to look to the left and turn to your head to the right. So we're just going to go back and forth. And bring yourself back to center. We're going to do gentle circles with your neck. So you're not looking to maximize the size of the circle. You want to keep it small and focus in on opening up those muscles. Gentle and opening. And switch directions. Go the other way around. And bring yourself back to center. We're going to open up on one side and then open up on the other. So the skin of that balloon is opening up down into the shoulders and up into the skull. And bring yourself back to center. We're going to go do the same thing forward and back. Open up the back and then open up the front. Okay, bring yourself back to center. We're going to put our hands in front and we're going to come down. Let me turn to the side so you can see this a little better. So I'm going to come down and then go up. And don't work the front of your knees. You want to pump the backs of your knees. Kneecaps are just for bumping into things, as my teacher used to say. Okay. Now we're going to keep those hands in front. We're going to open up one side as we come back, lean back, open up the back and the other side and bring it around. So we're going to do a circle. So you don't need to push it and make it a really big circle. Nice gentle circle coming around. And then switch directions. So open up one side as you come back, open up the back, and then open up the other side. Okay. Bring yourself back to center. And now we're going to work on the hips. So find a piece of wall, shelf, a chair, whatever you got handy. We're going to use that for balance because we're going to put all our weight on one foot and we're going to kick out to the side and around in a circle. And then we're going to switch directions. Okay, bring your leg back to center. We're going to lift it up, go out to the side and around in a circle. And switch directions. So the point of these exercises is to loosen up the hip joint in all the directions it's able to go. Okay, we're going to draw that leg back and kick forward. The hip is a ball and socket joint. It can go not just forward and back like an elbow can do. So that's all the only direction the elbow can move, in line with the arm. Draw your leg back and kick out to the side. So like this, the hip joint can actually go to the side. You can go out at an angle, draw it forward. We're going to kick to the side again, and you can go in circles. But we don't tend to use it that way, so this will help you restore some range of motion. All right. bring it back to center, and now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to turn around here, and I'm going to kick out to the side, around and back. So I've got it again. I'm doing a circle. My foot's going in a horizontal circle. All right, then I'm going to switch directions. So I'm taking the leg back, out, and around. But focus in on your hip, on loosening up the hip. Okay, bring it by your side, and then we're going to lift it up, out, and down. So we're doing that vertical circle again. And switch directions. Okay, bring your leg down, and we're going to draw it back and kick forward. Then draw it back and kick to the side. Okay, then we're going to bring it forward, and we're going to kick to the side again. I guess I really should say swing to the side. You don't want to, our emphasis is not on hard, but on fluidity and opening up our range of motion. All right, so now we're going to step away from that support, bring our feet together, and put our hands up on our hips, and we're going to go down, back up again. So this is fairly similar to what we were doing earlier. So we're pumping the backs of the knees, a bit like we're sitting down in a chair. Okay. Now this time when we go down, we're going to turn the knees to the side. We get about halfway down. We're going to start bringing back in, out to the other side as we go up. So different kind of circle. Again, we're pumping the backs of the knees. Work the backs of the knees, not the kneecaps. Then we're going to switch directions. And we're going to go down, open the knees up, and come up. So it's a bit like a capital D-shaped movement. And switch directions. All right, now we're going to put our weight primarily on one foot, extend the other leg out a little bit, and we're going to do gentle circles with our ankles. It may feel a little bit like it's flopping around, that's fine. And switch directions. And with the stretching, like a lot of other Tai Chi, one of the things you want to look at doing, not necessarily, one of the things you want to look at doing is coordinating your breath with the movement. So in and out, in and out. All right, now we're going to just extend that a little bit more, press the weight on the tops of the toes, and this will open up the front of the foot, top of the foot, the front of the ankle, and the shin. Now we're going to switch our weight to the other foot, extend, in my case, the left leg out, and I'm going to do the circles with the ankles again. And switch directions. And then extend your leg out. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get our legs back by our sides. We're almost done. Or excuse me, about shoulder width apart. Maybe a little bit less. Bring up our hands with some gentle fists. And with this one, I'll turn to the side so it's a little clearer. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to pull back gently on my kidneys as I bring my arms in. So pulling back on my kidneys will open up my back and help it curve around, and then I'll bring in the arms, and it looks a bit like this. And we're going to open those hands up, bring them around in front. So imagine you're holding a big ball, and we're going to turn to the left. And as we come back to center, stop at center. Don't keep going. Turn back to the left. So we're going to turn from front to side. Front to side and back. Front to side and back. And when we get to center, we're going to turn to the other side. And I'm going to bring myself back to center. So we're going to do something very similar next. And I should point out that what we're actually doing to turn, one thing that will help it, your fluidity, is actually fold these joints that we've got here at the tops of the legs. All right, so I've got my hands in front, and as I turn, I'm going to bring the one up to my forehead and the other down to my tailbone. And bring yourself back to center. And now we're going to do some gentle shaking. We're going to start with the hands, the fingers, backs of the hands and so on. Up into the lower arms, the upper arms. I'm going to shake out all that stuff we freed up in stretching and loosening the muscles. Now we're going to do the shoulders, the neck and the head. Down through the shoulders and back down into the chest. Shake the stomach and the hips down into the groin. Shake the thighs, the hamstrings, backs of the knees, down into the calves. And then we're going to shake the feet and down into the ground. And then take a moment, recenter yourself so that your weight is evenly balanced inside and out, forward and back.
Today we're going to learn Repulse Monkey. We'll begin with our feet about 45 degrees, about how they finished the previous move. And our hands are up, are going to be up here. As we're learning, we're going to start holding a ball though, instead of the way they are in the previous step. So we'll break this down as usual. I'm going to start with the lower body. So I'm going to be moving my left leg back. So I'm going to lift up the heel, shift it back, plant it, and then I'm going to shift my weight back. And we'll repeat that with the other side. And shift our weight back. So you'll notice as I do the move, I'm actually rotating my waist. So lift that foot up, rotate my waist a little bit, plant the foot, and shift back. All right, so now let's break down the upper part. So as I said, we're starting with that ball. We're gonna open up our arms nice and wide. Before we do that, we're gonna focus in on this upper arm, or upper hand. And I'm just gonna keep my eye on that as I come back. So to get here, I've got my arms nice and widely opened. And if you want to put a Christian frame on it, I'm opening my arms up to God. And I'm looking at the hand back there. Then the next thing to do is to actually just bend at the elbow and bring that forward. Keep in my eye on it. And I'm going to turn as I bring the left arm back and I push with the right hand. Okay, so again, got my hand, I'm going to focus my attention on this, my right hand. I'm going to open them up so the palms are facing up. And then I'm going to bring that hand forward to be just bent by bending the elbow. And push as I withdraw this hand down, my left hand. Now let's put it together with the lower body motion. So I've got that hands holding the bowl. I'm going to open up. Then I'm going to do my lower body motion as I bring my hand forward. So I'm focusing on that hand as I bring it forward. And at the same time, with my heel, bring that foot back. And then as I shift my weight, I push forward on the right and withdraw on the left. Then we can repeat that going backwards again. So we're just going to open the hands up. I'm focusing on now the left hand, the one that's behind. So I bring it forward and keep my attention on it. I bring my right foot back. And as I shift my weight, I'm continuing that motion forward as I withdraw my right hand. We could do it again. So I'm focusing in on that right hand now as I open up, palms up. As I bring that hand forward, I bring my opposite leg, my left leg back, plant it, and then continue the motion as I withdraw my left hand. Open up, and as we're looking at the left hand, as we bend at the elbow and bring forward, bring back the right foot, and then shift our weight back. Open up, bring the leg forward as we bring the hand up to the ear, and then push as we shift our weight back. So, and as I've been demonstrating, you can actually continue that step by step, just as far back as you can go, and then come forward and do that again and practice that each day over the week to get that form down. So if you have any questions, reach out to me by email or in the chat down below. In the meantime, have a blessed week.